The difference between a Japanese car that dies at 120,000 miles and one that quietly rolls past 600,000 comes down to almost nothing mechanical. The engine itself, in the vast majority of cases, is not the problem. What actually destroys these vehicles is a dangerous combination of neglect, oversight, and most importantly, bad information you receive in places where you should be getting straight answers. I'm going to walk you through the 10 maintenance habits that genuinely separate a car that lasts decades from one that becomes a money pit before its time. And the very first item on this list starts with a lie the automotive industry has been telling you since the day you drove off the lot. Stop blindly trusting the oil change interval printed in your owner's manual. This one genuinely bothers me because it's one of the most damaging mistakes drivers make without ever suspecting a thing. The owner's manual for a Toyota Corolla, a Civic, a Camry, pretty much every popular Japanese car sold in America recommends somewhere between 7,500 and 10,000 miles between oil changes. That number has nothing to do with what's best for your engine. It's engineered to make the cost of ownership look attractive on paper, so you pick that car over the competition at the dealership. The manufacturer is not thinking about your engine at 400,000 miles. Their concern ends the moment your warranty expires, and even that's generous. You know who thought differently? An American who pushed a 1,990 Honda Accord past the 1 million mile mark. He changed his oil every 5,000 miles 185 times over the life of that car, and the engine never needed a rebuild. Another documented case, a man in Louisiana put over 1 million miles on a 2007 Toyota Tundra hauling heavy equipment through heat and humidity. The dealership itself confirmed 117 service visits over 9 years. Both of them used full synthetic oil and never stretched their intervals beyond what the engine actually needed. The real standard for anyone serious about longevity is 5,000 miles with a quality filter. Every mile past that is a gamble you're making against your own engine. And speaking of dangerous gambles, the next item is the biggest lie the auto industry has manufactured in decades. Change your transmission fluid, because this whole lifetime fluid story is one of the greatest scams in the car business. If your owner's manual tells you the transmission is sealed for life and requires no maintenance, you need to understand what lifetime actually means to the people who wrote that. It means the life of the warranty listed on the window sticker. 60,000 miles, maybe 100,000 if you're lucky. After that, if the transmission grenades itself, that's entirely your problem. They call it lifetime fluid because it sounds premium, like you're getting something exceptional. What they actually did was remove the dipstick so the thought of checking that fluid would never even cross your mind. The owner of the Million Mile Accord changed his transmission fluid 31 times, roughly every 32,000 miles. Experienced mechanics who specialize in Toyota and Honda are nearly unanimous on this. Drain and refill every 30,000 to 50,000 miles. And here's a critical detail most people don't know. Never let anyone talk you into a full pressure flush. That process agitates the sediment that has settled at the bottom of the transmission housing and can cause more damage than the old fluid itself. The correct method is a partial gravity drain and fill, replacing 3 to 4 quarts at a time without disturbing what's settled inside. If you own a Nissan with a continuously variable transmission, a CVT built between 2007 and 2016, pay extra close attention right now. The CVT units in the Ultima and Sentra from that era are notorious for starting to slip and grind somewhere between 60,000 and 90,000 miles, and the repair runs $3,000 to $4,000. The only thing keeping those Nissan transmissions alive past 100,000 miles is regular fluid changes. That's not an exaggeration. That's the line between paying for a fluid change and paying for an entirely new transmission. But the transmission isn't the only system your dealership is quietly encouraging you to ignore. Flush the coolant and replace the thermostat at the same time, every single time. Coolant breaks down over time and gradually turns acidic. That acid silently eats away at the aluminum inside your engine block and radiator, and you won't notice anything happening until the temperature gauge spikes on the highway with nowhere to pull over. A coolant flush every 50,000 miles eliminates this risk entirely. And here's a tip that high mileage owners treat like a trade secret. Every time you flush the coolant, replace the thermostat while you're in there. The part costs $15 to $30 and takes about 20 minutes on most Japanese 4-cylinder engines. The reason is straightforward. When a thermostat sticks closed, the engine overheats. When the engine overheats, you blow a head gasket. On a 4-cylinder Camry, that repair runs $1,200 to $2,500. On a Subaru with the older 2.5-liter boxer engine, it can exceed $4,000 because of the sheer labor involved in tearing that flat motor apart. A $20 thermostat or a $4,000 head gasket. That math couldn't be simpler. The next item can literally save your entire engine if you take 2 minutes to look it up right now before you keep watching. Find out whether your engine has a timing belt or a timing chain, because that single piece of information changes everything about how you need to maintain that vehicle. There's a case that sticks with me, a Honda Odyssey owner who came into the shop with 112,000 miles on the clock. The timing belt snapped on the highway. The piston slammed into the valves at full force. Every single valve bent. 2 valve guides cracked. The engine was scrap metal in a matter of seconds. The owner had assumed she had a timing chain because nobody had ever told her otherwise. A preventive belt replacement with the water pump and tensioner would have cost around $800. The replacement engine installed in her minivan ran $5,000. That is exactly what a timing belt failure looks like on an interference engine, which is the most common engine design in Japanese cars. In an interference engine, the pistons and valves share the same space at different moments, and the timing belt is the only thing preventing them from meeting. When that belt breaks, the meeting happens at high RPM, and the result is always catastrophic. Toyota Camry 4-cylinder engines from 2002 onward used timing chains. Honda 4-cylinder engines also made the switch around 2002, but all Honda V6 engines continued using belts all the way through 2017, including the Accord, Odyssey, Pilot, and Ridgeline. Subaru didn't complete the transition to chains until 2011 and 2012, depending on the model. Mazda engines from 2012 forward all use chains as standard. If you're shopping for a used Japanese car right now, prioritizing a chain-driven engine removes this entire category of risk from the equation completely. And while we're talking about fluids, nobody mentions, there's one sitting inside your brake lines at this very moment that your dealership has almost certainly never brought up. Flush your brake fluid every 3 years without exception. Brake fluid is hygroscopic, which means it continuously absorbs moisture from the surrounding air. That moisture corrodes your brake lines from the inside and gradually seizes your calipers in a process that's completely invisible until it isn't. The system gives you no warning. The brakes feel normal, feel firm and responsive right up until the moment they don't. A full flush costs $100 to $200 and takes less than an hour at any competent shop. Skip it and you're looking at corroded lines that can rupture under pressure or seized calipers that run $300 to $1,000 per corner of the car. But the more immediate danger goes beyond corrosion. Fresh brake fluid boils at over 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Old contaminated fluid loaded with moisture can boil below 300 degrees. That means a long mountain descent or a series of hard stops on a steep off-ramp can vaporize the fluid inside the hydraulic system and your brake pedal goes straight to the floor at the exact moment your life depends on it. While you're handling brake maintenance, grease the caliper slider pins once a year, particularly if you live anywhere near the coast or in a region with persistent humidity. 5 minutes per wheel with silicone brake grease prevents the most common brake repair seen on high-mileage Japanese cars, uneven pad wear caused by a caliper that can't slide freely. And this next habit costs you absolutely nothing. Never let your fuel tank drop below a quarter. Every fuel tank accumulates sediment over the years, rust flakes that shed from the tank walls, residue from gasoline additives, and microscopic debris that settle at the bottom. When you run the tank close to empty, the fuel pump starts drawing that sediment up along with the last bit of gasoline. Over time, that material clogs your injectors and destroys the fuel pump years before it should ever fail. The owner of the million-mile Accord needed a tow truck exactly once in the entire life of that car at 741,000 miles when the original fuel pump finally gave out. He credited the longevity of that pump directly to the habit of never running the tank low. A fuel pump replacement runs $400 to $800, and on several Japanese models, the entire fuel tank has to come down just to access the pump, which drives the labor cost up significantly. A free habit that can save you hundreds of dollars and years of useful life from your vehicle, all because someone wanted to squeeze one more trip out of a full tank. Keeping the gauge above a quarter costs nothing, but it protects a component that costs real money to replace. If this content is genuinely useful to you, hit subscribe. Every week there's new coverage of Japanese car maintenance, and there's a lot more coming. Now let's talk about something you do every single morning in your driveway that's probably causing more wear than anything else we've covered so far. The way you drive in the first 5 minutes after starting the engine matters more than any other single habit on this entire list. Cold starts cause more engine wear than hours of highway cruising, and almost nobody discusses this with the seriousness it deserves. When you crank a Toyota or Honda on a cold morning, the oil is thick and pooled at the bottom of the oil pan. The engine management system dumps extra fuel into the cylinders to compensate for the low temperature, and that fuel literally washes the protective oil film right off the cylinder walls. For those first few minutes, you have metal contacting metal with almost no lubrication. It's the highest wear moment the engine experiences across its entire lifespan. The correct procedure is to let the engine idle for 30 to 60 seconds, then pull out and drive gently for the first 5 minutes while keeping the RPMs low. Stop sitting in the driveway for 10 minutes waiting for it to warm up. That habit made sense on carbureted engines from decades past. On modern fuel-injected engines, an extended idle doesn't produce even heat distribution and actually increases wear rather than preventing it. And it's not just how you start the engine that counts. Highway driving is dramatically easier on every system than stop-and-go city traffic. At steady highway speeds, the engine runs in its comfort zone, the transmission barely needs to shift, and the brakes are almost never touched. Virtually every documented case of a car reaching 500,000 or 1 million miles involved a vehicle driven primarily on highways. The million-mile Tundra hauled equipment on long cross-country runs. The million-mile Accord ran logistics routes between cities. If your daily commute is mostly gridlock and stoplights, cut your fluid change intervals by at least 25%. Because the accumulated wear from urban driving is far greater than your owner's manual accounts for. The next item only applies to certain drivers, but if it applies to you, it might be the single most important thing on this list. Apply an undercoating to your vehicle every year if you live anywhere road salt gets used in winter. This is what frustrates me most, watching mechanically well-maintained cars get destroyed by rust before their time. You can follow every other item on this list without missing a beat and still lose the car to structural corrosion. Toyota settled a $3.4 billion lawsuit in the United States over frame rust on Tacoma, Tundra, and Sequoia trucks from the mid-2000s. Over 225,000 trucks required complete frame replacements at roughly $15,000 each. The Mazda 3 and Mazda 6 from 2010 to 2016 developed corrosion severe enough in salt belt states to compromise the structural integrity before 100,000 miles. The good news is that all of this is entirely preventable. A lanolin-based undercoating applied every fall runs about $150 a year. Products like fluid film and wool wax work extremely well. Use the thinner spray formula to inject into frame rails and door cavities, and the heavier product for wheel wells and underbody panels. Stay away from rubberized undercoating on used vehicles. It cracks over time, traps moisture underneath, and accelerates rust instead of stopping it. Touch up paint chips immediately, because bare metal starts oxidizing within hours in salty, wet conditions. $150 a year in protection or $15,000 for a new frame. That math should make the decision easy. And now, here's the one your local parts store employee will probably push back on. Use the fluids your manufacturer specifies and stop buying generic alternatives. This matters more for the transmission than for any other component on the car. Honda automatics need Honda-specific fluid. Toyota automatics need Toyota-specific fluid. Nissan CVTs need genuine Nissan CVT fluid. It doesn't matter what the label on the generic bottle claims. Compatible is not the same as correct. And at high mileage, the wrong fluid produces shuddering, slipping, and accelerated wear on the clutch packs inside the transmission. Call the parts counter at your dealership, give them your year and model, and buy exactly what they specify. For engine oil, the brand matters far less than the specification. Full synthetic from any reputable brand works well, as long as it meets the viscosity rating in your owner's manual. For oil filters, aftermarket performance filters from established brands actually outperform factory filters in capturing fine particles. But for the engine air filter, stick with OEM. Aftermarket oiled filters can contaminate the mass airflow sensor in the intake tube, and replacing that sensor runs $200 to $400, a completely avoidable expense. Everything covered so far has been about what to do. The 10th and final habit is about when to act, and it's the one that matters more than everything else on this list combined. Fix problems the same week they show up. A woman in Florida who owns a 1,999 Toyota Camry with over 500,000 miles on it summarized her entire approach in a single sentence. Anytime something sounds different or feels off, she takes it to her mechanic immediately. Not the following week, not after the weekend, immediately. That is the complete philosophy. And she's absolutely right, because every expensive repair I've ever seen on a Japanese car started as something cheap that someone put off because the timing wasn't convenient. A failing oxygen sensor costs $100 to $200 to replace. Leave it unaddressed and the engine runs rich, pushing unburned fuel through the exhaust until it destroys the catalytic converter. What started as a $150 fix becomes $900 to $4,500. A small coolant leak costs $50 to $150 to repair. Ignore it and the engine overheats, the cylinder head warps, and the head gasket lets go. Now you're looking at $2,500 or more. This exact pattern plays out every single week in shops across the country. The owners who reach 500,000 miles aren't operating with some special advantage or extraordinary luck. They're simply the ones who refuse to delay a cheap repair because the week got busy. The total cost of maintaining a well-kept Japanese car to 500,000 miles runs approximately $35,000 to $40,000 across its entire lifespan. That sounds significant until you do the actual math. It works out to 7 to 8 cents per mile driven. Walk into a Toyota dealership and finance a new Camry today. Factor in the payments, depreciation, insurance, and fees, and you're paying 40 to 60 cents per mile. 7 cents or 60 cents. You tell me which one makes more sense for your wallet. If this video helped you, go check out what you might be doing wrong during your oil changes that's quietly damaging your engine. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.